I'm Carol Williams. I'm with 90 Degree Benefits. I am one of the sales account manager. I work out of the Oklahoma office. Thank you for joining today. I wanted to actually begin by looking at some very basics regarding the self-funding. I'm not going to go into anything very deep, but I'm just wanting to talk to you regarding looking at the options for self-funding and when it would be a good time to do so. First thing I wanted to discuss or begin with is some of the myths that we hear that actually deter people from looking at self-funding and preventing themselves from looking at all the options they have available to them. Number one, self-funding is more expensive for employer groups. This is not usually the case at all. The accurate information is self-funding usually achieves a cost saving and provides the ability for more control over employer health plans. Number two, only large employer groups can self-fund. This is not the case at all. Self-funding can allow smaller employer groups the opportunity to receive reporting to show where their highest costs are being spent, where their money is going. This provides an opportunity to manage your health plan. It's based on factual data that's provided to you real time. The ability to implement programs and services that provide cost savings. Number three, increased risk for employers to self-fund versus fully insured. This is inaccurate. Honestly, if you look at what the definition of risk is, it's a chance that something unwanted happens or a chance of loss or negative consequences. Self-funding options provide no greater risk or chance of undesirable circumstances than a fully insured plan. The truth is, because you have factual data available to you, the risk can be evaluated and looked at, and that's how you make decisions and overall decrease costs. The basics of self-funding. True self-funding, an employer pays healthcare costs directly. There are no insurance premiums. This option, while the employer pays no insurance premiums, can actually pose a financial strain because you don't have an insurance parachute. The option, as with any option, the assessment of each employer needs to be made, and it should be made based upon their stability and their appropriate amount of risk. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Partial self-funding, that is an employer takes the responsibility for some of the financial risk by paying for some of the healthcare costs themselves. And this option actually includes a reinsurance or a coverage of stop loss insurance policy. And it covers for large or unexpected health claims. Stop loss insurance is kind of like having a parachute. It prevents financial unexpected burdens to the health plan. So when it's set up, it's taken into account the amount of financial risk that you are or want to take on. And that will all come into play and can be discussed further whenever someone, the broker or the third-party administrator, helps to build your health plan. And then looking at level funding, that actually is pretty safe. Sort of getting your toes wet, dipping your toes in the water, because it's truly very similar to a fully insured product. You're not taking on any more risk than you would have in your fully insured option. It's a self-funding alternative option, and it's for employer health plans that want to look at being able to obtain their data and some transparency. And at the end of the day, even though it's handled as a fully insured, similar to fully insured, what happens is the monies that you have paid in for your premiums, if that money that you have paid in exceeds what your costs have been for the year, then you will get 100% refund of what you paid in that was not utilized. And we can talk more about that, but it gives you a good feel for a partial self-funded option. And it also, especially for smaller groups that have a hard time getting other options because they don't get specific reporting, you're going to get the same kind of reporting that you would get if you were in a self-funded or partially self-funded model. And that helps you again to find out where your costs are going and make adjustments. And with the level funding option, you also are able to, in most cases, build your plan based upon your risk tolerance. How to begin reviewing funding options. The first thing that I think is very important is a partnership or partnerships, looking at your broker, a trusted broker that you have, the employer group, hiring that broker, and a third-party administrator, a trusted third-party administrator. That partnership is very important because all three of people are important to the success of your health plan. The information, clear information about transition, timing, and expectation. This is where things regarding transparency, reviewing a timeline so that you know what kind of expectations you have for when things will be completed. Preview of benefit options, that's looking at the different options that you have for your health plan, because that again would be different looking at a partially self-funded or level funding option. Review. Your network options are a very important piece because your network options, especially if you have a network that is very broad and you're wanting to continue with that, your network options, we can look at a disruption report, looking at whether or not you would have a decrease in providers in comparison to what you currently have. Looking at the average discount savings, you want to make sure that you're getting a network that stop loss or your reinsurance carrier is going to give you the best proposal for. Pharmacy benefit managers, that's the same thing. We would want to make sure that you're looking at that, taking into account what the formularies are, looking at a comparison regarding what your current pharmaceutical plan covers, looking at specialty drug management, the administrative fees, and at the end of the day, in self-funding and level funding, you would have the ability to obtain or receive your rebates for that quarter. So those all are very important things to look at. When to review funding options. Really, all of these, the reduced costs for medical and pharmaceutical benefits, transparency, reporting, and analytics, And optimal timing. All three of these things are when you want to start looking at those things, specifically your medical and your pharmaceutical, to make sure that you're getting the best cost-effective medical and pharmaceutical plan that also individually covers what for your health plan. Uh, and the optimal timing, uh, that's just when you feel like you want to make a choice based upon factual data. Savings opportunities. These are the big, I think, large options to look at for savings opportunities. One of them, the first, is elimination of state health insurance premium taxes. Because you would be self-funded or level funded, you would not be subject to state premium taxes. Usually that's a 2 to 3% annual savings. Plan design flexibility. Customized plan designs based upon your employee population. It's also giving you the flexibility to make choices on what you, in many cases, of what you want to cover, and what, how your deductible and your out of pocket. Those things are all options that you can look at, and looking at the specialty services vendors and the different services that you might want to include with those. It's not a canned product. It's giving you options to look at. Regulations and mandates. Generally, this is not subject to state regulations and mandates, and it depends upon the state that you live in, because benefits are they're primarily regulated at the federal level through the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, or ERISA. Savings, variabilities, and cash reserves. This really is, you're paying only for the services that you're using, your plan members use, the potential of earning interest on any unused funding that you have set aside. And that would be provided to you looking at what your expected costs would be for your health plan. We could go through those kind of things, and those are the things that you would be looking at and comparing when you get a proposal. When is self-funding a good option? It's when you have the potential for cost savings, you have control of your cash reserves or your funding. The thing to remember is looking at self-funding options, level funding. This is looking at a long-term approach to control your spending, a long-term approach to make strategic decisions. And the reason I say that is because you're building that data, and that data is going to help you make a decision based upon where your dollars are being spent, and looking at what options you have to include or exclude things from your plan, and look at the risk tolerance and stability of your company. If you are at a company that variable pay or variable costs would not be of benefit to you, and I'm talking about significant changes, because again, that would all be built in to what your expected costs would be. So anyway, those are the main things that you would want to look at. If those are the things that are of importance to you, then self-funding is a good option for you to look at. Most common questions, looking at things that people ask most commonly is, what information is needed to obtain a self-funded or level funded quote? And basically the answer to that is the same as looking at getting a proposal for a fully insured quote. It's the census for employers, it's 2 to 3 years of premium history. For larger employers, it's 2 to 3 years of claims history. Also, those are the main things that we would need, and some of those things would vary depending upon the size of your group, of course. 2, timelines are needed to make what timelines are needed to make a successful transition. And the optimal time is 2 months. And that gives us time to get everything ready so you can look at and make decisions regarding your health plan, get your network set up, your pharmacy set up, and get all of those things ready for the effective date that you're making the transition. 3, will self-funding or level funding require more time for your internal staff who already have a lot of work? The factual answer to that is there is more time required. It's not a lot of time, but it is more time. And it's because you're actually looking at what you're paying for. You're actually getting a detailed claims report that tells you what claims are being charged, and those kind of things, those you would be funding. You would give approval to fund. The same with your pharmacy, your pharmaceutical. You would be getting a detailed explanation of those pharmaceutical prescriptions. So those are things that you should want to be looking at, and also checking your eligibility. You should be checking your eligibility no matter if you are fully insured or self-funded, just to make sure that you're not paying for people that are no longer on your plan, or making sure that the people that are on your plan should be on there are listed on your health plan. Number 4, will our employees experience difficulties in a transition from fully insured health plans? And honestly, no, they should not, because no matter what, they've still got that their member ID cards. And when they go in for go into a provider or for a service, they're still providing that ID card. There are a few things that they need to learn about, but those things are educating them during open enrollment or setting things up. And we would be very happy to come out and be included in your open enrollment and help you answer any questions that employees would have. Number 5, what kind of ongoing support could we expect to see with self-funding, level funding? And we pride ourselves on being very customer service oriented, and we're passionate about making sure that we assist employees and employer groups in muddling through some of the circumstances that make it very difficult for people, whether it be their health claims and some coverage, or looking at things, whether or not they would be covered, doing pre-certifications and predeterminations. How will this affect our compliance fiduciary responsibilities? Honestly, it's basically the same. Whether you're fully insured or self-funded or level funded, you have responsibilities regarding doing what is best and for the plan, keeping that viable. Self-funding and level funding give you more flexibility and transparency, which also brings further time requirements for approving medical and pharmacy. The funding is also confirming all of those things that are important to make sure that you are being cost effective and watching the watching the costs of the plan. I hope this has been a little bit helpful for you. I, again, am Carol Williams, and my email and phone number and the office number are available. And if you have any questions or want to look at any opportunities or have any concerns, I'd be happy to speak to you further about this. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for your time.